Hello, Al pals. This is Big Al. Welcome to Big Al Presents something a little different. I have done multiple reviews before, but in this case, it wasn't the original plan to put these two together until after I finished watching both of these films and realizing just how similar they are. They are both about young men who have that cinematic experience that sparks a passion for filmmaking. And I thought, well, let me do a video about both of them, kind of a short little review on each one and how they kind of shore up against each other. The films, as you can see, are The Fablemans, which is directed by Steven Spielberg, and a little film that has been floating around in the ether without a distributor for years. 5/25/77. If you know that date, you and I could be besties. Done by the filmmaker Patrick Reed Johnson, and I'll talk a little bit more about him later. But before I continue, of course, caution, there may be some spoilers ahead. If you don't want to know anything about these films, you might want to stop here. I don't give too much away, but it's always good just to cover the bases. With that being said, well, here's what I have to say about both of these films. These two films have very similar themes. As I said, two young men inspired by powerful cinematic experiences. One, The Greatest Show on Earth in The Fablemans, and 2001 A Space Odyssey in 5/25/77, and how seeing these films when they were young sparked that passion for filmmaking. The Fablemans is a fictionalized biographical film based on the life of Steven Spielberg. Gabriel LaBelle plays Samuel, well, they'd call him Sammy, Fableman, and he does a fantastic job playing who is essentially Steven Spielberg, but not really. Wink, wink. It is an outstanding piece of filmmaking, expertly directed, superbly written, and the film is blessed with brilliant performances, especially by Michelle Williams and Paul Dano as the parents of young Sammy Fableman, and the surprisingly good turn by Seth Rogen, who seems to be expanding beyond his typical role as a pothead. Also, David Lynch appears and gives a short but powerful portrayal as director John Ford. The film also features a glorious musical score by John Williams that is enhanced by several classical pieces. With Spielberg at the helm, a film based on his life, it's no surprise that the direction is near flawless. He expertly weaves the coming of age aspect with family drama and the filmmaking passion of a young man. The Fableman seems to be a true labor of love. It is a wonderful look into the life of one of the greatest filmmakers in history. 5/25/77 is a film by Patrick Reed Johnson, who in the film is played by John Francis Daly. And this film was 18 years or so in the making. The primary filming was done in 2004 to 2006 in that area, and the film was continued to be tinkered with over the years, including new special effects. The film has been shown at several festivals and conventions, but didn't see any kind of an official release until this year. Film features a great performance by John Francis Daly, who many of you may know from the series Bones. He played Sweets, the psychologist. And while the film is not as refined or had the benefit of a Spielberg like budget, it's an effective little film showing a young filmmaker and where the love of his craft would take him. Where 525 falters, though, is its runtime and a need for focus. The film wants to also show a young boy's coming of age and a young filmmaker finding his inspiration and wanting to share that vision. But does not succeed nearly as well as The Fablemans. The stories feel disjointed and they never really blend. The film may have been better served concentrating more on his film passion and his obsession with Star Wars. It is that aspect of the film that truly succeeds. All the rest of the coming of age storyline of this young kid, anything that's not associated with his filmmaking, just feels out of place and uninteresting. Now, Patrick Reed Johnson has proven himself to be a capable filmmaker. He's filmed Spaced Invaders, Angus, Baby Days Out, and he also wrote and produced such films as Dragonheart. But of course, he's not at the level of Steven Spielberg. 52577, though technically nowhere near as polished as The Fablemans, is still a fun film for those who grew up loving science fiction films and for those who remember the wonderful days in the 70s just before Star Wars premiered. The Fablemans once again proves Steven Spielberg is the premier filmmaker of our time. 52577 has all the hallmarks of a possible cult film. Not technically proficient, but it can be enjoyable by the fan base it honors. But there's going to be a lot of speeding through some of the unnecessary teenage angst aspects. Now, I wondered what to give these two films, and I'm giving The Fablemans a high score, and you're right. And in 52577, I have to be honest to myself. It is not technically the best film. There's a lot of issues with it in its editing and things like that. The Fablemans is 4.5 stars all day. It is Steven Spielberg at his filmmaking best. It's got a fantastic cast who are just sublime in this film. It's got great vision, music, and for me, the highlight of the film comes at the very end. David Lynch playing director John Ford. If there's a possibility that that short of a performance can get some kind of a nomination, there really should be a place for that. Because he really was a lot of fun in that role. 52577, it's 2.5 stars. I wanted to give it 3. I just couldn't. There's too many things wrong. If this film was trimmed a lot more, it does run over 2 hours, and it doesn't need to run that. This would have been a great little hour and a half film about a guy who's obsessing with filmmaking, special effects, and who gets a chance to see a very rough cut of Star Wars. And those who are fans know the rough cut that had the uh, scenes of biplanes from the film Wings back, the 1920 something film that won Best Picture in place of the Death Star battle, kind of give an idea of the flow of the film. In real life, Patrick Reed Johnson saw that cut, just like it happens in the film. He met a young Steven Spielberg while he was filming Close Encounters and met the guys doing the special effects for Star Wars and became obsessed with seeing that film. That's what they should have stuck with. If they had cut all that out, I would have given this thing 3.5, 4 stars. with a little bit of tweaking. It's a very rough cut film. It does look like an indie film or something that was crowdfunded, but I just didn't have the heart to give it anything above that. I can still recommend it if you're a genre fan out there. If you like filmmaking, check it out. If you're a Star Wars geek like me, it could be a fun little watch. But definitely The Fablemans, far superior film. Of course, it's Spielberg. Uh, what can I say? And I just thought it'd be fun to do these two films together because they were so similar. It, it, I was really shocked, and I'm glad that 52577 has finally gotten to where it's available to the public. And I think these two make kind of nice little companion piece to watch. I found it quite interesting, kind of seeing the differences. Well, I hope that you liked this video and what I had to say about these two films. Like I said, Fablemans, big time recommend, and 52577. If you're a Star Wars geek, it could be fun to check out. You know, that's what I. It's 2.5. What can I say? If you haven't subscribed to my channel, Big Al Presents, I really hope you do so. More reviews, rewatches, and rambles in the weeks and months to come. If you did like this video, please give it a thumbs up. I'd appreciate it. And share it. Please share it out there. Get the word out there. One fantastic film and one fun film that's really got a lot of flaws, but still fun. Whatever you do decide to watch, be it The Fablemans or 52577, I hope you find something you truly love to watch and enjoy it, because that's what it's all about. Take care, everyone. Until next time, goodbye.